evening, families, friends, faculty, and especially the class of 2026. It's my distinct pleasure to welcome you to the 185th Baccalaureate service at the Williston Northampton School. The class of 2026 joins a legacy that now stretches across 3 different centuries and includes more than 11,000 graduates who have carried the values and spirit of this school far beyond this campus into communities around the world. Baccalaureate and commencement ceremonies have long and storied histories. While tomorrow's commencement exercise will rightly be celebratory and joyful, tonight invites something different. This evening offers us the opportunity to slow down, to reflect, and to recognize the deeper meaning of this milestone. For centuries, baccalaureate ceremonies have marked moments of transition, times when young people stood on the threshold between one chapter of life and the next. The tradition itself dates back to medieval European universities, where graduating scholars gathered for prayers, reflections, and words of wisdom before departing to begin lives of leadership and service. Over time, schools and colleges across the world adopted the tradition as a way to honor not only academic accomplishment, but also character and responsibility. At Williston, we taught purpose, passion, and integrity. And so tonight, in a tradition that connects generations of graduates before you, we gather not simply to celebrate what you have achieved, but to recognize who you have become. You are at a moment that marks both an ending and a beginning. Your years at Williston have been shaped by much more than classes, assignments, performances, practices, competitions, and exams. Your experience has also been built through conversations in the dining commons, long evenings in the dorms, moments of laughter with friends, encouragement from teachers and coaches, setbacks that tested you, and successes that reminded you what is possible through perseverance and through hard work. In your time at Williston, you have grown into leaders, teammates, artists, scholars, citizens, and friends. Along the way, you learned not only how to succeed, but also how to support one another, how to listen, how to recover from disappointment, and how to contribute meaningfully to a community larger than yourselves. Those lessons may ultimately prove to be the most important of all. This is your time. You are stepping into a world that needs your kindness, your creativity, your empathy, and your conviction. The global challenges we face will require thoughtful people who are willing to lead with integrity and compassion. As you move forward, carry with you the lessons that you have learned, not just from textbooks, but from people, from your teachers who challenged you, from your families who supported you, from your friends who stood beside you, and from the countless moments of both success and struggle that shaped your character. The purpose of a school like Williston has always been larger than simply preparing students for college. It's about preparing young people to live meaningful lives, to think critically, to act honorably, and understand that leadership is measured not only by achievement, but also by generosity, humility, and service to others. Tomorrow, as you walk across the stage and receive your diploma, I hope you will pause not just to appreciate how far you have come, but also appreciate all of the people who helped you along the way. I also hope you will remember the words of our alma mater and allow all that you have learned at Williston to guide your hearts, guide your dreams, guide your minds, and guide your lives. Tonight, you join a long line of Williston graduates who once sat right where you are now. They were filled with excitement, uncertainty, anticipation, and hope. And just as this school has shaped them, it has shaped you. From tomorrow forward, you will forever be connected to this place and to one another. You are now part of something bigger, and this community will always remain one that you can return to for friendship, support, and belonging. Take in these final moments together. Appreciate the traditions, the friendships, the memories that have defined your time here. In just 16 hours, you will no longer be students, you will be alumni. Be proud of all that you have accomplished. Be confident in who you have become, and be hopeful for all that lies ahead. Congratulations, 2026. We're now going to welcome some students to the stage. It is a modern Williston tradition during this ceremony, which has its roots in 15th century in Oxford University in England, to ask the senior officers to speak. In medieval times, each student delivered a sermon in Latin. Tonight, you will simply hear brief personal reflections from our class officers. So please welcome Ruth Butler to the stage.
Good evening, faculty, relatives, friends, and the wonderful class of 2026. My name is Ruthie Butler, and I have been a boarding student at Williston for my entire 4 years of high school. I feel so lucky to be able to speak tonight and be able to attempt to encapsulate the personality of our class. Now, I absolutely adore Williston, and I undoubtedly feel that I have found my best self here and have created lifelong friendships that have made me the happiest a girl could be. But if you told me 3 years ago that I would be up here stating that exact statement, I would most likely be horrified. I vividly remember a year ago, around this exact time, telling Darren Fox, Lauren Martinez, Annika Song, Miss Malinowski, and the rest of our A-Block AP Government class that I bet my everything I will absolutely not cry during graduation the following year. Now it is the following year, and graduation is tomorrow, and I'm currently up here trying my best to not cry in front of you all because of how sad I am to leave this home. My sophomore year, some of our second years here at Williston, when us returning students felt we already ran the place, I heard an analogy which has stuck with me to this day from a wonderful girl named Scarlett, a girl who I've already said I miss you to every day to for the past month. We were at lunch, and I heard her refer to a graduate who had been in our lives during our freshman year, but we no longer saw on campus, as a season 1 character. This was extremely amusing and not an out-of-character comment for my good friend Scar, but it was one that stuck, and we all used throughout our entire time here. Even though we are a combination of different seasons, some people making guest appearances throughout our 4-season show, some people entering in season 2, season 3, some of us season 4, we have all been major characters that have curated a story that is unbeatable and most definitely unique. I've gone to 6 different schools throughout my 18 years of living, and let me tell you, I have had quite a broad experience. From the Northampton Montessori School just 10 minutes away, to public school in Southern California, to a private all-girls Catholic school, to another public school in Naperville, Illinois, to Williston boarding school. I've seen almost every experience you can get from different kinds of schools, and I promise I'm not lying when I say this has been the most genuine community I've ever been a part of. Memories of third floor mem overflowing and causing chaos with my roommate Katie, going to the pond in town and trying to not think about what we might be swimming with, the varsity volleyball team making it to playoffs for the first time in 15 years my junior year, laying around and doing everything but what we were supposed to do in intramural golf with Lauren, Sierra, and Maya, the random appearance of hacky sack on all corners of campus, the intense match of Senior Assassin this year, which in another life I definitely won, abusing the new allowance of DoorDash and ordering Taco Bell way too much, and just endless amounts of laughter. I will forever feel so grateful to Williston for giving me the people that I love most. The friends that I have made here, you all know who you are, have given me the kind of friendship I thought was too hard to find. My connections here have brought light into my life, bonds that I will cherish forever, and have encouraged me to be more outgoing and engage even more in this community. These are just a handful of the lifelong memorable experiences I have had here at Williston. There were high highs, low lows, and a combination of both, which has made my experience here confusing but rewarding, knowing that everything that has happened has shaped me and helped me grow a greater understanding of the woman I'm growing into day by day. I hope this resonates with you, class of 2026, because when thinking about the concept that you are a reflection of the people that you surround yourself with, I can confidently say that I am proud to be a reflection of the people I surround myself with daily, which is all of you. I am proud to be an OG Season 1 character and have been able to see every phase of the curation of our story. I am proud of all of us, all we have achieved, and all we will achieve, and I'm proud knowing that even if I had started crying, crying. During the speech today, all of you would have supported me and cared about what I have to say. And that is rare, to have an entire class of people who genuinely support and love each other in different forms, despite their slight embarrassment or vulnerability, because those are the characters that have embarked in such a personal and genuine journey. Everyone always says their class is the best, but what other class had a metaphorical show go on for all 4 years of their combined existence at Williston? I know I've never heard of any other class. Shows many of us grew up watching, like Liv and Maddie, Girl Meets World, Austin and Ally, Good Luck Charlie, all end with the show's final episode being graduation. But for us, I hope this isn't our last episode. I hope to be shopping in a grocery store one day and randomly run into any one of you and be thrown back to this moment, these memories, and feel the immense joy that Williston has given me all over again. I'm so proud to say congratulations to the graduating class of 2026. I hope we all thrive in our new independent shows, but remember that our story does not end here. Thank you.
Thank you, Ruth. Please welcome now to the stage Class President Alex Landon.
Ruthie, it's okay. I think my mom is crying too, so. Good evening, class of 2026, families, and faculty members joining us tonight. My name is Alex Landon, and I've had the incredible privilege of serving as class president this past year. Before I begin, I'd like us to all give it up for the seniors. In 24 hours, we will officially be Williston alumni, and that deserves a round of applause. Additionally, I'd like to thank the people who helped make today and this entire weekend possible. To our teachers, Sage Dining, Physical Plant, and everyone else, your hard work now and every day for the past 4 years has not gone unnoticed and is deeply appreciated by every one of us. Finally, I'd like to thank my parents and grandparents and all of the family members in the chapel tonight for all of the support they've given us and sacrifices they've made to let us be a part of this amazing community. In my time here at Williston, I've been honored to be involved in many different programs and clubs, but one thing I've loved most is being on informational panels. Throughout the past 4 years, I've been on 5 or 6 of these panels for visitors, ranging from admitted students to grandparents to trustees. The topics of these have varied as well: course offerings, student life, athletics, and more. Despite the differences between all these panels, there was one statement that came up every single time without fail. The community at Williston is special. But thinking more about it, this statement is missing something. It doesn't explain why Williston is so special. So, for all of our visitors today, and all of us who have lived it, I'd like to take a few minutes to reflect on why that statement is so true. The Williston community is built on passion, the type that shows up everywhere. Our students don't do things because they have to, but because they truly want to. Our community is students like Junwan, who wrote and performed a 15-minute musical parody completely on his own in one trimester, or dancers like Sadie, Zakai, Maya, and Wakanda, who spend hours refining every movement, not because they have to, but because they care about what they're creating together. And it's also the way we show up for one another. Our students have a unique ability to recognize and celebrate the success of others, to pack the student section at sports games, to watch the musical, to attend weekend events that people worked hard to organize. Similarly, we feel that same exact level of commitment from our teachers. Mr. Tangway can often be seen reviewing math at breakfast, sacrificing his own sleep to ensure the success of his students. Mr. Chu and Mrs. Hill are frequently found in the library meeting with students during their free blocks, giving up their own time to help out. Dr. Dahl voluntarily spends his Sunday nights before assessments helping students review for their finals. Ms. Levine generously invites her classes into her home. The list of examples is never ending, and that's because our teachers don't just teach. They make sacrifices for us, they care deeply, and they genuinely want to see us succeed. Hopefully you see what I'm getting at by now, and it's that Williston's community is different, more connected. I can think of one moment that epitomizes that perfectly. When we dealt with the loss of a community member in the fall of my freshman year, I was extremely upset and emotional. In our community gathering, overwhelmed with emotion, I began to cry. Afraid to be seen like this, I quickly covered it up. Immediately, a classmate I barely knew leaned over, gave me a hug, and simply said, "It's okay, I'm here for you." To me, this moment is Williston. Not the buildings or the schedule we sometimes dread, but the way people show up for each other without being asked. Students here lift each other up and allow each other to be their true selves without hesitation or judgment. There's a song by John Mayer that I've had on repeat for years. I'm not going to sing it out of respect for everyone's hearing, but the main line in the song is the title, "You're Gonna Live Forever in Me." I'm not sure if this is just a thing that I do, but I've always associated songs with people or experiences. As I've reflected and wrote these remarks for tonight's ceremony, it dawned on me that this song is perfect for Williston, because Williston is going to live forever in me and in all of us. In a way, tomorrow morning is an off switch. No more assemblies, no more morning omelets in the dining hall, no more turf nights with your friends. But when we pack up our things and leave campus, we aren't done with Williston. Every relationship built here, every lesson learned, and every moment that shaped us will stay with us. Williston will live on in each of us, in the ways we show up for others, in pursuing our passions, and in how we approach whatever comes next. If you're lucky enough to join a community like this again, cherish it. Hold on to it. No matter where you go, embody the principles you've learned here. Be a shoulder to lean on. Follow your passions. And most importantly, always be proud of the green and blue. I sure know that I will. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. Please welcome Lauren Martinez.
They told me not to touch it, so I was just making sure. Whew. Good evening, parents, families, friends, faculty, and of course, the class of 2026. My name is Lauren Martinez, and for about 13 more hours, I can call myself a 4-year senior day student from South Hadley, Massachusetts. I'm still going to be from South Hadley in 13 hours, but like some other kids here, I'm going to graduate tomorrow, so I'm soaking up these last few moments of being able to call myself a high schooler. I want to start by saying that I'm truly grateful for this opportunity to be talking to all of you tonight, especially because this year, as a class, we've had to tackle some pretty big questions, like, what am I going to do with my life? To be or not to be? How am I going to tackle the future job market with the new threat of AI? And the biggest one, what's at the dining hall for lunch today? Tonight, though, I want to answer a simple question instead of asking one. And that question is, what does it mean to be a student at Williston? In better words, what does it mean to be a Wildcat? The truth is that anyone can sign the forms, pay the tuition, and wear a green and blue sweatshirt. Actually, the Wildcats that I'm facing right now, myself included, have slept in through classes, got caught out of dress code, left campus without filling out that reach, and maybe pasted a couple questions into ChatGPT. So, what makes us worth celebrating? Sorry. For me, the answer is in the way we treat each other and ourselves at our best moments, but more importantly, at our worst ones. There's a Ted Lasso quote that comes to mind when I reflect on my lowest lows here at Williston. I was originally going to say it in his southern accent, but it turns out I'm not very good at it, so here it goes in my regular voice. Lift your heads up and look around this locker room, or in this case, this chapel. Look at everybody else in here. Now I want you to be grateful that you're going through this sad moment with all these other folks, because I promise you that there is something out there that is worse than being sad, and that is being sad and alone. Ain't nobody in this room alone. I've had a lot of challenging moments, to say the least, in my last 4 years here, and that experience is not unique to Williston. High schoolers everywhere struggle, but at least here, nobody struggles alone. There are tons of other schools, boarding, public, or private, that have students and faculty that will celebrate someone's every win, every high score, or every best performance, but will turn a blind eye when you're not at your best. Williston is not like that. Wildcats are not like that. Here, for every low grade you're convinced will ruin your life, There are people who will sit and share your disappointment with you, regardless of whether they relate to you or not. For every minute you might sit on the bench feeling sorry for yourself, there is a teammate who makes you laugh and remember that it's really not the end of the world. For every moment you find yourself questioning your abilities or feeling overwhelmed, there is a classmate, a friend, an advisor, or even one of the faculty's toddlers who will offer their shoulder to lean on. So, to answer my own question, to be a wildcat is to overcome the greatest obstacles with grit, not because you need to prove yourself, but because everyone here reminds you that you are so much more than your weakest moments. It is to be there for others, not because you have to or because you're obligated to, but because that's what we do here. I'm really, really going to miss being a wildcat, and not just because it's the same mascot as in High School Musical, although I do think that's pretty sick. Being a wildcat is truly an experience that has changed me for the better, and I have you, the class of 2026, to thank for that. This fall, we might call ourselves Rams, Huskies, Spartans, or Skyhawks. I swear these are all college mascots, and I'm not just listing random animals. If you're going to play lacrosse at Davidson College, you will still be a wildcat, which is really, really inconvenient for the purposes of this speech, but nice. My point is, whatever mascot you find yourself represented by this fall, I hope you continue to carry the grit, love, and energy, or, as has been engraved into our minds, purpose, passion, and integrity that make us wildcats. In the meantime, though, I'm hyped to see all of you tomorrow at 8:45 a.m. sharp. So, savor tonight, don't be stupid, don't be late, and go Cats! Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Lauren. I think Ms. Poland will want to talk to you at the end of the speech. Our final student speaking this evening, Jack Nolan.
Hello, Williston faculty, staff, families, underclassmen who signed up to be here, and most importantly, the graduating class of 2026. I'm Jack Nolan, and I'm a 3-year boarder from Scottsdale, Arizona. As I thought about what to say in this moment, there have been many quotes or poems that have been offered to me by friends and teachers that I'm sure would have made for great speeches. But one quote from a couple weeks ago in Mr. Leibowitz's AP Literature class stuck out to me. It was the first time this year that I thought about this speech, and it's a quote from a short story called Black-Eyed Women, and it reads, "Stories are just things we fabricate, nothing more. We search for them in a world besides our own, then leave them here to be found, garments shed by ghosts." This quote made me think back to our sophomore year commencement, where for the first time, I got to see the firsthand impact of the stories left behind by the graduating class. The class of 24, for many of us, were our summer mentors, our captains, our dorm proctors, and our campus leaders. As a new student and underclassman, I observed them more than I interacted with them. Regardless of my level of interaction with the seniors that year, they still left an impact on me directly that shaped my time at Williston. Without first seeing what many of them did, I would not have followed in their example, being involved on campus and trying new things. When the class of 24 left, the class of 2025 picked up the garments and carried on their stories, and echoed and possibly surpassed the stories left by the prior grade. And then it was our turn to continue writing the stories that began long before we got here, and even write some of our own. As each graduating class gets further removed from Williston, from their time at Williston, they become nothing more than faces on walls and stories that get told less and less. While those that remain are curators of those stories. We've all seen the cycle of fond memories fading into stories that no longer get told, but echo through every moment lived on this campus. This is not meant to be discouraging, because though the stories may slip from memories or there may be no more students left to tell them, there are many achievements and stories that remain etched on plaques, written in record books, and boldly stitched into blue and green banners in the gym. If we want to look for places to see the history of each Williston class, we can look along the walls of Schoolhouse, where academic honors span the length of the building. Or we can look at the halls of the Athletic Center to see the names of every athletic award winner, our Hall of Fame, and even a team picture of every varsity Williston athletics program. When students return to campus in the fall, our names, records, and pictures will vibrantly decorate these halls. They're not the only places for us to look for the stories of prior classes. The past can be found in a door signed by the previous occupants of your room, or in your stall where many sign their names after their senior season. This year, it was our turn to sign into the old wooden doors of our dorms and pass on what was once ours to the next graduating class. Tomorrow, as we walk across the stage and enter into the mythic past of Williston, it is important to recognize that the proof of our class's incredible feats is marked across this campus. And even when our stories are no longer told on this campus, it is impossible for everything that this class has given Williston to be forgotten. I'm going to finish with a quick quote from Benjamin Franklin. If you would not be forgotten as soon as you are dead and rotten, either write things worth reading or do things worth writing. As a class of 26, we have done things in our time here that are worth writing down, and all of those little marks tell a small piece of the story of the class of 2026. I look forward to sharing many more stories with you all as we become the college class of 2030. Thank you.
Ms. Chambers, I feel like I'm setting you up. Thank you very much for those 4 wonderful, wonderful reflections, maybe best ever of all time. Ruthie, I'm right there with you with the tears. Jack, ditto. Lauren, boy, I learned a lot about you. It is a great pleasure to introduce tonight's speaker, but I suspect Ms. Chambers does not really need an introduction to students in this audience. You know her as the Dean of DEIB, who has created lasting programs like the DEI Advisory Committee of Student Leaders, which is an expansive group that presents at Why Not Speak Day. You know her as the co-faculty advisor for the BSU, a group she reimagined and expanded. You know her as a teacher of a spring elective on social movements. You know her as the person to seek out if you have a community concern impacting an underrepresented group on this campus. Seniors know her from pairing with college counseling and providing programming to prepare you for the colleges you are about to attend. I know Dean Chambers somewhat differently. She's my colleague. I know her as Nikki, as a seasoned professional, wise beyond her years, as a former admissions counselor at Barnard College and then Smith College, as an alumnus for Teach for America, as one with an expansive intellectual appetite that consumes books by the bushel and Beyoncé by the plane ticket. As the owner, I should say as the mother of Dolores, a dog with a personality to match her own. Ms. Chambers has a talent for understanding and elevating communities and a gift for sharing. And we are looking forward to her remarks this evening as long as they don't make us cry. Dean Chambers, it's all yours.
Thank you, Mr. Hill. Faculty, staff, families, friends who are like family, and most importantly, the class of 2026. It is a true honor to speak to you this evening, and as many of you know, this is our last chance to gather before you cross the threshold from Williston student to alumnus. Tomorrow, many of you will drive over Mount Tom with your cars packed to the brim. Some of you with far more than you arrived with last September. Some of you may be off to celebrate commencement with parties of your own, surrounded by the people who have loved you, supported you, and watched you grow into the versions of yourself we see before us tonight. And then before long, you will be on your way. You will head towards new places, new roommates, new routines, new versions of yourself that you have not met yet. Some of you, after years of being surrounded by this bucolic beauty, are headed to schools where you will not know where the campus ends and the big city begins. Some of you are headed to colleges bigger than this entire town. Some of you are headed somewhere maybe even quieter or more rural than Western Massachusetts. Some of you are headed closer to home, and some of you are headed somewhere new. Regardless of where you are going, I imagine that many of you are ready. Ready for freedom, ready to not have to sign out on Reach before you go somewhere, ready for a new rhythm, ready for something bigger, louder, faster, or maybe just ready for something different. But before you go, I want to invite you to pause and think about what it means to leave home. Not just the home you came to before Williston, but this home, the one you built here, day by day, in classrooms, the dorms, the dining hall, on teams, in rehearsals, in advisories, through your friendship, and in ordinary moments that may not have seemed important at the time. As many of you know, home was the theme of this year's upper school speech contest. And if it's all right with our English department, I'd like to take this moment to offer my own insights on the matter. Because tonight, home is not just a prompt. It's the thing you are preparing to leave, the thing you have helped to create, and the thing you will carry with you into whatever comes next. So what is home? Home is one of those words we use all the time, but rarely stop to define. We say, I'm going home. Sometimes we mean a house, maybe we mean a dorm room, or a familiar street. Perhaps it's a person, a meal, a song that reminds you of something or someone, a group chat, or simply a place where we don't have to explain ourselves quite so much. At its deepest level, home is not just where we live, it's where we are known. It's where we can relax and exhale. Home is the place, or the people, that remind us of who we are when the world asks us to become too many things at once. Home can be where Home can be where we are from, but it can also be where we are going. It can be something we inherit, something we miss, something we outgrow, or something we have to build. And sometimes, home is a place we only fully understand after we have left it. I know something about that. Some of you may not know this, but this is my second time living in the Pioneer Valley. The first time, I was around your age, in the middle of my own college search, trying to figure out what school I might one day call home. And because I am both a millennial and a part-time history teacher, I feel a responsibility to properly situate us in the early 2000s. So, for the teenagers in the room, allow me to offer a brief explanation. And for the adults in the room, please enjoy this small moment of nostalgia. In the words of Sophia Petrillo from the Golden Girls, picture it, Montclair, New Jersey, 2005. Gwen Stefani was teaching us how to spell bananas in Holla Back Girl. Kelly Clarkson was making Heartbreak sound like a powerful anthem with Since You've Been Gone. Beyonce had recently gone solo after Destiny's Child. AOL Instant Messenger away messages read like emotional diary entries. Your MySpace top 8 selections had real in-person social consequences. And many of us were dressed in outfits suspiciously similar to what I see you all wearing around campus, down to the wide-leg jeans and the mini skirts with the Ugg boots. After school, we would race home to watch music videos on TRL and or 106th and Park. So here I was in the early 2000s, 16, 17 years old, with an iPod full of bops that I bought on iTunes, or Napster, if you know, you know, searching for a college where I could be challenged, stretched, and seen. That search eventually brought me here, to Western Massachusetts, and to Mount Holyoke College. I still remember the first time I saw the campus and the overwhelming beauty of this region. The hills, the trees, the mountains in the distance, and the feeling that this place could make room for someone who was still figuring herself out. I spent 4 of the best years of my life being challenged academically, learning how to be a leader, making lifelong friendships and connections, learning how to think critically, and most importantly, learning how to use my voice to speak my truth. Sound familiar? After graduating from Mount Holyoke, I spent nearly 10 years working in college admissions at 2 different institutions. I lived out of a suitcase, I traveled across the country and around the world, and I met bright, talented students of all identities and backgrounds who were searching for their next intellectual home. Working in admissions taught me that, on the surface, the college search process can look like applications, deadlines, recommendations, and decisions. But underneath all of that, it is often a search for belonging. Students are really asking, where can I find my people? Where will I become fully myself? Where will my voice be cultivated? Where will I be able to grow? That work changed the way I think about schools. It taught me that the best educational communities do more than prepare students for what comes next. They give students confidence, questions, new passions, friendships, courage, and sometimes a new definition of home. Years after graduating, I returned to the region that gave me my first real dose of belonging. The first time I came to Western Massachusetts, this place gave me room to grow into myself. The second time, Williston invited me into the work of helping the school community do the same as the inaugural Dean of Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Belonging. And that has been one of the greatest joys of my life. Working in partnership with all of you to build spaces where young people feel seen and known, challenged, and cared for. There's joy in watching a student find their voice. There's joy in seeing communities learn how to ask better questions. And there's joy in creating academic, residential, and community spaces where people can bring more of themselves into the room. In class of 2026, whether you realize it or not, you have built something here. You came to Williston as one version of yourself, maybe confident, maybe nervous, maybe pretending to be more confident than you felt. Maybe you were excited to leave home. Maybe you weren't sure you were ready. Maybe you were certain exactly who you were, only to discover that life has a way of complicating our certainty. And then slowly, Williston began to shape you. Not all at once, not perfectly, and not in the same way for everyone. But through ordinary days, this community became a part of you. I know because I witnessed it firsthand. It happened in assembly where our wildest cats, Nina, Francesca, Darren, Jack, and Owen, enthusiastically partnered with Miss Channel to advertise weekend activities and bring people together. It happened during Why Not Speak Day workshops that expanded your perspectives and challenged you to think more deeply about identity, community, and belonging. Some of you did this through workshops like Pieces of the Pie, The Origins of Pizza, with Gabe and Shane, or by celebrating small businesses that sustain us like Morgan and Skylar did in Small Restaurants, Big Community. Or by teaching us how to play cricket, as Keshav and Evan did in More Than a Game, Cricket, Culture, and Community. Or maybe, like Lauren and Isabel, you helped us explore the cultural and generational differences amongst immigrant families in the workshop Replanted Roots. Williston continued to shape you on athletic fields, both on and off campus, in art studios, in theater, in classrooms, through fish bowls, on this very stage, and in the one-on-one conversations with friends that helped you understand yourself a little better. Some of you may have not known that you had any artistic gifts until you took ceramics with Mrs. Staples. Some of you did not know you could become historians until you took world history with Mr. Brooks. Some of you arrived already talented athletes, but your gifts reached new heights under Blaine's coaching. And some of you may be ready to become the Lady Whistledown of your generation because of journalism with Mr. Leibowitz. Williston has taught you more than you may realize. It has taught you how to live in community, how to become more independent, how to sit with discomfort, how to ask better questions, listen across difference, and how to keep going when something doesn't turn out the way you hoped. Those lessons can feel small when they are happening, and frankly, they're not always easy. Growth doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it looks like walking to class half awake, but finally figuring out exactly how much time you need to get dressed and out of the door before Miss Burns calls your phone to tell you that you're late for first block. Sometimes it feels like being corrected, challenged, disappointed, or humbled. Sometimes it feels like failing at something you should already know how to do. And then, one day, you realize you're different. Not because one single thing changed you, but because you kept showing up and you kept learning. And that is one of the gifts of a place like Williston. It gives you the space to try, to stumble, to surprise yourself, and grow into parts of yourself that you did not know were there. Class of 2026, tomorrow you will not just be leaving a campus, you will be leaving a place that has witnessed your becoming. The small attempts, the ordinary days, the moments that did not seem important at the time, but together became your life here. And leaving a home is complicated. There's joy, pride, sadness, anxiety, gratitude, and sometimes all of those things at once. Some of you may be ready to leave and still find yourselves emotional tomorrow. Some of you may be excited for what's next and still feel the ache of what is ending. Some of you may not fully understand what Williston has meant to you until you are somewhere else. All of that is okay. That is a part of leaving home. But when you find yourself somewhere new, somewhere louder or faster or stranger or farther from home, I hope you remember what Williston has taught you. I hope you remember how to make a place feel less familiar by showing up fully. I hope you remember how to build community with people who are different from you. I hope you remember how to ask for help, how to offer it, and how to keep becoming yourself without forgetting where you've been. So what is home? Home is not something you stumble upon. Home is something that you build. It is something you cultivate through care, intentionality, vulnerability, and resiliency. And perhaps most importantly, home is also the place that prepares you to leave to soar to new heights. I want to leave you all with the poem by Alberto Rios called A House Called Tomorrow. You are not 15 or 12 or 17. You are 100 wild centuries, and 15 bringing with you, in every breath and in every step, everyone who has come before you. All of the yous that you have been, the mothers of your mother, the fathers of your father. If someone in your family was trouble, 100 were not. The bad do not win, not finally. No matter how loud they are, we simply would not be here if that were so. You are made fundamentally from the good. With this knowledge, you never march alone. You are the breaking news of the century. You are the good who has come forward. Through it all, even if so many days feel otherwise. But think. When you as a child learned to speak, it's not that you didn't know words. It's that from the centuries, you knew so many. And it's hard to choose the words that will be your own. From those centuries, we human beings bring with us the simple solutions and songs, the river bridges and the star charts and the song harmonies, all in service to a simple idea, that we can make a house called tomorrow. What we bring finally into the new day, every day, is ourselves. And that's all we need to start. That's everything we require to keep going. Look back for only as long as you must, then go forward into the history you will make. Be good, then be better. Write books, cure diseases, make us proud, make yourself proud. And all of those who came before you, when you hear thunder, hear it as their applause. And class of 2026, that is my hope for you, that you understand that you are not leaving Williston empty-handed. Beyond your diploma, you are leaving with every version of yourself that had to grow, stretch, stumble, laugh, learn, and begin again. And as you go, I hope you now know that home is something you know how to build now. You have practiced it here. You have built it here. You have been a part of it here. The house called tomorrow is waiting for you, and all you have to do is bring yourself as you go forward into the history that you will make. And Williston, your home, will always be here. I am so proud of you all. Congratulations, class of 2026.
Thank you, Dean Chambers. Those remarks, that reflection the 4 from the student officers. I have to say, I'm always thinking all the time about how to capture what Alex was talking about. How do you define the community here? And I think the words we heard tonight, Nikki, yours, and the students, brought it together in a way that I've rarely heard before. I will steal a lot of that in the future. We are going to sing the alma mater. We're not? Oh, I'm sorry. My bad. Here, I was just going to tell you what's happening. We're going to have the chamber singers. Thank you. Great. And when we're all done, after we sing the alma mater and we adjourn and recess out, please come to Catherine Hill and my house right over here. All the kids know where it is, and there's dessert and refreshments, and it's cool air. So we'll see you there.
Please rise and join us for the alma mater.